Module 4, Database and the Internet. In this module, based on what we have learned in the previous modules, we will develop actual web application that can connect to the database and use the information stored in that database. For this, we need to use two different languages. The first one is web design language, and second one is programming language. To design your web page, we need to use a design language called HTML. After then, to develop some logics and functionalities of your web page or web application, we have to use some programming language. For the programming language, among many options, we are going to use PHP. So to actual implementation of web application with database, we need to learn some basics about HTML and PHP first. So in this topic 1, we will look at HTML as the first step. So what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Again, HTML is for designing web page. It's not for programming. So HTML is not a programming language, but it is called markup language. So what is this markup language? A markup language is a set of markup tags. To better understand what this markup language means, let me use some examples. So in a web page, you want to show many different contents. The contents of your web pages are called HTML elements. There may be very different types of HTML elements. It could be paragraph. Sometimes you may want a link and want to move to the other web page. And sometimes you want to add line break. So in this table, I'm showing you some examples of a paragraph tag. So each tag is enclosed by a single angle quotation mark, and usually one tag is a set of starting tag and end tag. Starting tag is enclosed by a single angle quotation, but ending tag, in addition to this quotation, we add slash as well. Between starting tag and the ending tag, you can add some elements, HTML elements. In this case, it's paragraph. For some cases, in addition to the tag itself, you may want to provide some additional information as well. For example, if you want to add a hyperlink, the tag name itself is a tag. So here, with the single angle quotation mark, we start with the starting tag A. And we close this tag with /A. And then inside here, we add a text and the user can click this link. But when user click this link, there is further action. What is the action? You should go to a different web page. So we need to provide the information about the next web page. So the URL address of next web page must be provided. If that kind of information is needed, then we need to provide this information using this kind of format. A variable equals to some value. So the value is assigned or stored in this variable. This is the way to provide additional information, and it's called HTML attributes that I'm going to show some more examples shortly. A very special case is when we do not need both starting and ending tag. For example, line break. There is nothing you may want to show on your web page. In this case, you can just open and close in one place. So there is no starting and ending, but just one tag with BR and slash at the end. It will add a line break in your web page. In sum, when you design your HTML web page, you use a lot of different types of tags, and inside those tags, you can show many different types of web contents. So in sum, we can say that HTML elements or HTML contents This is everything from the start tag to the end tag. So here is a simple web page, and if you look at the structure of this web page, we begin HTML here, then where you can find the ending tag here at the bottom. So HTML. Inside here, we provide web contents. So head start here, head ends here. Inside head, we have a title. Inside the body, we have a paragraph. The more details about each tag I'm going to explain in the next following slides. Okay, now let me briefly review a few different tags, and then we can do some hands-on exercises. First, title. So title, using title tag, you can define a title in the browser toolbar, and you can provide a title for that web page. Let's move on. And this title is actually included in head tag. So what is this head tag? Head tag is kind of container where you put all the meta information. Title is one example. So it's not main contents, it's not main body contents, but this is kind of information associated with the current web page. In addition to title, some other information can be included inside the head that include meta, script, style, and sometimes you can also provide like language information. Whether you use English or other foreign languages as a character set for this web page. So again, head is a kind of meta information, and it's not main body contents, but it is very useful information associated with that web page. Now let me talk about a few important tags used inside the body. So for the main body of your web page, first p tag. P tag, as I showed you before, it is a paragraph. This p tag is inside the body. So body element defines the main contents, the main body of the HTML documents, and starting with the body and end with the /body. Lastly, HTML is the biggest container. So the HTML element defines the whole HTML documents. In addition to those tags, we can add some comments in the HTML. So how to add a comment? The comment will not be shown on the web page, but it would be useful information or memo. So to add a comment, there is a single linked quotation, single angle quotation. And inside the single angle quotation, you use exclamation mark and 2 and add any comment and stop it with 2 and single angle quotation. So some other elements include heading. Heading tag is H1 tag is shown here, but you can also add H2, H3 like that. Sometimes if you want to add a horizontal line, to add this horizontal rule, you can use just HR because there is no specific element that you want to show. So it is very similar to line break. Both tags, there is no start and ending tag, but it starts with HR and immediately you can just end it with a slash. So HR / BR / is the same. So BR / stands for line breaks. So BR tags looks similar to HR tag. So the last one is attributes. Attributes, sometimes students are confused between elements and attributes, but make sure elements means some contents that you actually show on the web page. Attributes means some additional information about the element. Let's use some examples. For example, if you want to add a hyperlink, as I mentioned before, you can use a tag. For example, this is Hun's homepage. It is HTML element, and when user click this element, we want to move this to a new web page. So this new web page's URL address, this is additional information, and how to store this, how to provide this, adding this as a value to the attribute href. So href is the attribute name, and what's the format? Here, attribute name equals to certain value. So this value is assigned to a specific attribute. Similarly, if you want to add image, using tag itself is not sufficient. You have to provide where that image is located. So the location, the source file, the location of the source file is provided, and then where this value is saved. Now we are using different attribute called src, that stands for source. So we add this URL address as a value to source attribute. In addition, if you want to define width or height of that image, you can also provide the value using new attribute, like width attribute and height attribute. That's how to use attributes in your HTML. Definitely there are a few more things that I need to explain about HTML, but I will do this with real hands-on exercises.